everyone, and welcome to the GroomsMen. So this is Scott. It's been a minute. It's been about a month-ish, and of course I'm getting criticized as usual by the Rat Pack. So what I'm going to be doing today is comparing the Rex Sentry, which is their newest iteration of the Rex Konsul. Okay, so this is my adjustable console. Has the lowest serial number of any other Rex out there for the console. This was the first one off the line, other than the one that Matt Pisarcik has himself. I was the first to pre-order this. So we're going to be comparing it against the Sentry because what my curiosity is what, if any, settings this follow. What's the advantages of this versus this? Yes, prices are different, but this has many adjustments to it, whereas this is a stationary, okay? We're going to be looking at the length, the overall length of these, and discussing how they shave, okay? So with that being said, I'm going to be using my Best Badger Razor Emporium brush, along with some Rex Supply 1955 company, and I'm going to be loading these razors up with the Dorco stainless steel, I think it's called the Dorco 107 stainless steel blades, brand new. I got two, one for each razor, and we're going to be doing one side of the face to the other and comparing how these things work and trying to find exactly where on this dial matches the Sentry. So one thing to begin with talking about these razors is the Rex Konsul is slightly larger than that of the Sentry here, okay? You can see sort of by length that if I almost hold them identical there, the Konsul is about 4 millimeters. I mean, that's very slight, but the Konsul itself is about 4 millimeters longer. The knobs and everything are about identical size. I think where it gets it is the fact that there's this little gap right here for the adjustment knob itself, whereas this doesn't have it. This is a solid neck. This is a two-piece razor where it unscrews here and the top just comes off, okay? So what's different about the Sentry is it has the same knurling. It's a little bit shorter, 4 millimeters, so not much. But this is a three-piece razor, okay? This doesn't have the long thread with the tube here. This is hollow, of course, to allow for drying. It's all produced in stainless steel that'll last a lifetime. But this screws into the head, whereas that has the longer shaft on the screw and has the handle knob here at the bottom that goes up and catches it. So it's 4 millimeters longer. The Konsul weighs 104 grams. The Sentry is 102 grams. And from what I can do by eyeballing it is this goes to about 6.5 full up on the dial here. If you look here, 6 and 1. So it goes somewhere at about 6.5. I put this on 3 and was looking at it, and the blade gap just wasn't quite the same as the Sentry. The Sentry seemed to be a little bit more. So we're going to be trying it at about 3.5. And you can see there, I have the dot at 3.5 between the 3 and the 4. So we're going to be trying it about. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and give it a go. So let's get wetted up, let's get soaked up, and let's get this show on the road. All right, real quick though, one thing people are having issues with is this is a slant, okay? All slants have this thing where the guard is slightly bent, right? Or has some contortion to the blade. So one thing that seems to be a common issue, how do I put a blade in this thing? Okay, so a long time ago, Gillette told us to, if you're having issues with like these techs, is to take the head of the razor here, place it down, and just kind of, what I do is I push the blade down and I crimp the ends here. And you see how the blade's already sort of bent and it's lined up with these? But all I'm doing is I'm pinching the end here. So then I'm going to go ahead and take my plate, put it down, and then as I have my plate upside down, I just push this into it and twist it down. And just like that, we have no issues with getting the blade lined up with its slots that you can see in there, and it's lined up. And I do the same thing with the Sentry, or with the Konsul, I break that off, grab my blade, I put it down into the cap, just like this, okay? push it and I pinch it just like that, because you can see that those tabs are now sticking out. The Konsul's a little bit easier to do this with. And then you just tighten her down, just like so, okay? So the Konsul's a little bit easier because I don't have to fully invert it to kind of hold it and as I push it down and tighten. So the Konsul's a little bit easier to put the blade in, but that's it. That's all there is to it for loading these blades. So let's go ahead and get a little lathered up here again. So how's everyone been? I'm gonna tell you right now, you're gonna see two, not one, but 2 videos from me from this week. I have missed it, have been. I don't even have any excuses. I'll say I was busy, sure, but so are we all, I'm going to be real busy again here real soon. Business is kicking in. It's about that time of the year for us. Me and the wife, we have a little side venture and stuff, and she gets busy this time of the year. So I'm just lathering up here in the bowl lather. And now I'm going to work it into my beard here. I have like 8 days growth, something like that. So it ain't gonna be no easy feat, that's for sure. But the Konsul is really good about not being draggy with lots of days growth and so on and so forth. So, and you guys will actually be able to get to see it remove the hair. All right? And the same with the Konsul and Sentry both. We'll see. 3.5 might not be right. Maybe it's 4, maybe it's less. We'll see. I did get out my measure. When I say 4 millimeters, I did get out my machinist rulers and take a look at it, all right? And yeah, just effortless removal with the Konsul. Super smooth, as usual. There's no drag here. It's got decent weight, 104 grams. Look at that. See how it just takes it off? No problem, no questions asked. I saw someone super smooth. This has a really good, fresh, clean scent to it, the 1955. I could get it thicker if I chose to. Could get it thinner if I chose to. But like I've told everyone, what your lather preference is your lather preference, okay? If you're someone that's like, oh, I need it super thick. Well, more soap, less water, more time prepping it. It does depend on the base, though. There are just some bases you can't get thick if you tried. That bump on my face, I cut it off as usual. I have this unusual bump right here, and I always cut it. Never fails. All right, so there's that side done with the Konsul. Good, no drag, effortless, 3.5 on the setting. I've never used these blades, and some razors are particular on the blades you use with them. The Konsul, I have found that there are just some blades that do not work in it. Okay, so this is a little bit higher than 3.5. Judging by the feel here, this has got a little bit more to it. So this is a little bit more than the 3.5. Okay, so what are we dealing with here? So this one is not as smooth. It's not that it's not smooth, but what it is it means that it's turned up, meaning it has a higher blade exposure. So what are we at? Are we at like 4.5? 4 1/4? 4 1/4 it is. Okay, so to the original Konsul, this was the very first release of the Konsul. Like I said, this was one of the first off, based on numbers, this was like first off the line. My understanding is. So the Sentry is about 4 1/4 on the adjustment reel of the Konsul. So it does have some blade feel. Not a ton. I let that soap dry out too much. I gotta get some more soap here. Hold on. But given what I got going on, it's about 4 1/4. So the Sentry is about 4 1/4. It does have a bit of blade feel, not a ton. Okay, this is not by any means like the Ambassador. So I'm not getting any, it's not dragging. There's no suction here. I'm not getting any issues with that. It's just a little bit blade exposure more than I was thinking at 3.5. And so is the blade exposure neutral on this thing? Let me look. Oh boy, it is just slightly positive. So what I'm looking at for blade here is you're looking for the blade and how it stands out from the guard, from the cap, so to speak. And it's going to be almost impossible to see on camera there. But it is, boy, it is so, if it's got positive exposure, it's super little positive blade exposure, if we're being honest, all right? So it does have some positive exposure to it, but it is very little. I know, you see there's blood running down my face. I gotta get it before it hits my yellow shirt. I'll wear this thing later. That's part of the reason I'm shaving. I gotta look presentable tonight, you know? I have a dance meeting for my daughter. Dance thingy. Alright, you know, the wife was telling me I was starting to look like a bum, so it was time to do it. So, what do I think of the Sentry? The Sentry's great. It's more than I would say the 3 is on the Konsul, obviously, as far as that goes. It's more than the 3 on the Konsul. It's like 4 1/4 is what I come up with by blade feel. So it has a slight positive exposure, if any. So it's not necessarily, I wouldn't call that a mild razor. It's a moderate razor. How about that? Is that a good explanation for it? Slightly to the positive, but not much. Not much at all. Super smooth, non-draggy. Gives a very good angle. The 1 pass to 1 pass, I can tell you by feel, it felt just like the Konsul. So we'll do the Konsul at 4 1/4 this side now. And immediately switch to this. Yeah, 4 1/4, or for sure, definitely 4 1/4. Like identical drag, identical feel. Well, not drag, you know, identical blade feel. Yeah, because I figured it would have been a little bit lower. I figured it would have been around a 3, but I'm going with it's 4 1/4. All right. If you don't bleed, it's not in the name of science. That's what I've decided. And I'll tell you what, the next video I'm going to make this week, I have a surprise. I do believe world's first, and world's maybe, okay, I can't go so far to say world's only, but let's just say I've never seen it. Never seen it anywhere else. So that's going to be something. And you're only going to see it here in the GroomsMen. You're not going to see it anywhere else. let's just say I did some science experiments. Literally, I did some science experiments. Use a little bit of my chemistry background and my knowledge. So that is one thing that's a little bit unfair. You know, yeah, I have the world's first, and I think only, at least first to be seen, maybe not the only one that exists, but first to be seen. And it's a little unfair. I have a degree in chemistry, so I have a little bit of knowledge, let's say, that our other, so to speak, YouTubers and people don't necessarily have. I will say Matt Pisarcik, he has a pretty good understanding of some chemistry, because maybe a little known fact that you didn't know, you know who does the plating for Matt and who does his chemical balances and stuff for Matt? Matt does his own stuff. He actually, I've talked with him a couple times. He's pretty good. He knows his chemistry stuff, for at least what he does, pretty good. I will say that. I will honestly give him props on that. Yeah. So, but there's some preemptive chemistry that I had to do to show you the world's first. All right. So anyway, my thoughts. Sentry, good razor. To be honest, I would, you know, it is a great razor. I get that. It's a stainless steel. Great finish. This razor will last a lifetime. It's a little bit blade forward. Not, I mean, dude, if any, it's tiny, you know, hairline, blade forward a little bit. So it does have blade feel to it. I personally would say I'm still going to go with Konsul, man. I mean, I get this is supposed to be the cheaper iteration of someone who wants to get into the Sentry without the price of the Konsul. But I'm going to stick with my Konsul. You know what I mean? This would be a great travel option just because it's, you know, less, you know, it's one piece is, it's not adjustable, blah, 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 whatever. But I like my Konsul, man. I'm not going to get rid of this boy for, not for the Sentry. Not trading it in. Konsul, in my opinion, is still the king. So when it comes to those two. All right, so I am going to stop it there. And thank you, everyone, for joining me. Watch the blood. You know what? I know what everyone wants, what they're going to say. Hold on. Yeah. Now that I got blood, it's going to burn real bad. And I know everyone's always like, you never show the outtake of putting on. Hold on. You know, not too bad, actually. Is this witch hazel based? Oh, it is. That's why I didn't burn as much. This is my witch hazel based light blue by Master Soap Creations out of South Africa. So that's why I should have used the Kaizen alcohol base. That thing would have burned way more. So anyway, thank you for joining me. You guys have a great evening, rest of your day. And remember to stay classy. Tune into the Groomsmen. I know Fayez has got something coming up. I got something coming up as far as the world's first that I just got, and I can't wait to reveal to everyone. I will see you all later. Thank you again. This is Scott. Please subscribe down below. Send it to your friends. Have a great day.